So from here, substitute, solve for the only unknown, which is your radius, 70 centimeters. Now, area of the shaded region. Many different approaches you can take. So, what's your plan? What's your plan for finding the area of the shaded region? Dennis? Even if you haven't done the question, you still need to be able to identify a plan. Yeah, are you looking at the diagram? Okay, so how to find the area of the shaded figure, shaded region? But the rest of you who have done it, think of another way to find the area of the shaded region. So, area of the whole thing minus 4 triangles. Can you find the area of the whole thing? Dennis, cannot. Cannot. Why cannot? What did you mean by area of the whole thing? You mean the circle or the heptagon? Shh. What do you mean by the whole thing? Circle or heptagon? Circle. Okay, can we find the area of a circle? What is it? Huh? Hey, area of circle, why taking so long? Yeah, pi r squared lah. And the radius, we already got it in part 2. Then now for the area of the triangle. How do we find the area of one triangle? Half times base times height. What's the base? Okay, the rest of you laugh because I assume you realize that you cannot find the base yet. So, we may have such problems as we are formulating our approach. Then how? You are stuck. Is there another way to find the area of a triangle? Half AB sine C, yeah. We know A and B, they are the radius of the circle, which is the sides of the triangle. Then sine C is just the angle in between the two sides. That is just 360 divided by 7. So now you have a plan. Execute it. Other ways of doing it will be to find area of one sector minus area of one triangle. Then you will get the little shaded area. Okay? Then you multiply it by 7. Then you add it to 4 times the area of a triangle. Many ways to do it, but the approach I used was the same as what Dennis suggested, if it was really from him. So rounded off, the area will be 7730. Yes. Now 7A. We have an octagon. It is regular. So I know every single side has the same length. All the interior angles are the same, exterior angles are all the same. Find the value of angle MNO. Why do I say it is half of an interior angle? Okay, the red angle over here is half of an interior angle by symmetry. All these triangles, they are congruent. So the red angle that I require is also the red angle over here. And I can calculate the one interior angle. Number of sides minus 2 times 180 divided by 8. And I half that, 67.5. Okay, part B. Calculate the area of the octagon. That is 8 times of the area of one triangle. We use the half AB sine C. Or we can use half times base times height. 2 options for you to choose. But the problem with using half AB sine C is that you need to find the length of OM and ON. But they are the same now. So my suggestion, what I used was half times base times height. Base I know, height I can find out using the angle that I got from the previous part. Okay, nothing much to go through for this question. I shall move on. Question 8a. This marker is made of 2 parts. A cone, solid, and a solid cylindrical base. So volume of the cone is simply 1/3 base area times perpendicular height. All the information given to you. Likewise, for the total volume, we just add that to the volume of the cylindrical disc at the bottom. Okay, moving on. Part B, part 1. Every part of the surface of the marker is painted orange. So we have a few surfaces we need to consider. Hey, class. First, I have the curved surface area of the cone. Then I have this curved surface area over here. I have the flat surface at the top. And I have one last surface, which is at the bottom. One complete circle. So we add all of them up. The only thing that you might have issues with will be calculating the area of the surface area for the cone. We need to know the slant height. So we use Pythagoras theorem. We cut the cone into half. So we see a triangle. The height, perpendicular height, 40 centimeters. And our radius is 9 centimeters. For us to use the formula, we need the slant height. So area? No. Area equals to pi over L, where L is our slant height. We get that from Pythagoras and add everything up. So notice that I left my working, intermediate working, all in terms of pi, so that I do not need to press calculator. estimate by cutting off the number of decimal places you want to use. Only at the last step, then I round off. This will ensure that you preserve the accuracy until the last step. Question 9. Probability. Okay, so this is the tree diagram. Anybody needs me to go through? Noah? Question 10. Who needs me to go through question 10? Roderick, you managed to do it? Which part? Ipin, you keep quiet first. Yes? B. 10B. Wait. Somebody ask for B first. Okay. So now in part B, you need to be able to visualize what these two diagrams are trying to tell you. The part AB and BC, they are parts of a road that can be raised up. The pivot is A and point C. So the cable, which is D to the center, pulls the road one half of it up, another cable pulls the other half up. So we see that the shape that the road makes is part of a circle as it is lifted. So we look at diagram 2, because now they want, in part B, the width of the gap MN. M to N. Over here. Okay, this gap MN is the same as FB, because these are vertical lines. They are parallel. So the two lengths are the same. Now with that, instead of finding MN, I can choose to find the length of F to B. So Yiting, how should we do that? What's your plan? What's your approach? Knowing that the radius is half, radius of the part of a circle, I gave you a clue already. This MN is the same as FB. So how do we find this value? I can't hear you. 2 times of FB? No, MN. Oh, okay. MN is 2 times of FB. Yep, you're right. So this is the middle. N is over here. So MN is equals to 2 times of FB. Okay, so now I need to find FB lah. How to find FB? Why? Instead of just saying what is on the screen, why? Why is it 12 minus 12 cosine 50? Yiting, what is the length from A to B? Okay, do we know the angle MAF? Do we know the length, the angle MAF? It's given, right? 50 degrees. So over here I drew a right angle triangle. And you must be able to draw such right angle triangles. So given a right angle triangle, and the hypotenuse is 50. Can I find the adjacent length? How? Which trigo ratio do you want to use first? Okay, give me the entire equation. Give me the entire equation. You say cosine, right? Cosine of? What do you say? Cosine? Cosine what? Cosine 50 equals to? AF, yes, that is our adjacent. Over what? Over 12. So now you can find AF, right? So AF is equals to 12 cosine 50. Since I know AF already, I can find the value of FB, right? Which is 12 minus 12 cosine 50. And using your initial equation, Mn, which is 2 times of FB, now you can find it. Can? Okay, now part D. Since nobody requested for part C, right? So part D, the reduction in the length of the cable is the initial minus the final length. So original length, based on Pythagoras, we have 16 square root of 16 square plus 12 square, and then the final length, which we can calculate to be 10.287. Just subtract. Because in part C, we are asked to find the length of DM, which is the new length of the cable. So just subtract it. Round it off, 9.71 meters. We'll move on to question 12 first. Yeah, I'm going through question 12. You need me to go through? Okay, question 12. A. Who needs me to go through? B. How do you present for part B anyway? Yeah. You do it like me? Because they ask you to show that the formula is true and n is equals to 9. You can't simply substitute n equals to 9 inside. That means you can't simply do this and say, yes, it is true. Because if you just have the red color region, the numbers over there, you haven't shown anything yet. You are just evaluating. So when you need to show that it is true, you need to go by, use another method. So the other method is that you just add everything up. You know the pattern, you find the pattern for term number 9, add it up, you find that it is equals to 285. Then you substitute 9 into the formula to see whether it corresponds with what you had earlier on by adding everything up. This is how you show that it is true for n equals to 9. Alright, now part C, write down Tn minus 1 in terms of n. let's not overcomplicate things. I give you an example. Tn is equals to 2n plus 3, for example. What is the value for, or how do I find out what is T4? Whenever you see the n, you substitute it with 4. Right? What about something a bit more complicated? Maybe Tn is not equals to n squared plus 4n plus 3. So, for example, T5 is equals to 5 squared plus 4 times 5 plus 3. Whenever you see the n, you just change. What about now? We have Tn is equals to 1 over 6 n 1 over 6 n plus 1 2n plus 1. Now the value of n is minus 1. Okay, this is what they are just asking. Every time you see the n over here, you change it to n minus 1. Then you will get this. Okay, now D, we have seen something similar in our prelims, I think. Anyway, here is the working. Next one, to find the n term. For a sequence that has a common difference. Is always T0 plus n okay, so this one over here is always true for a sequence that has a common difference. So whether you keep adding 3, adding 10, subtracting 5, subtracting a constant, we always can use this. So now T1 all the way to T4 given to you is 9630. Then I need to find T0. I need to go backwards. So since this is T1, T0 will be 12. Tn will therefore be 12 plus common difference times n. Common difference is negative 3. So 12 minus 3n.